In this video, I'd like to discuss why we prefer cruising over flying. I'm going to break down 5 different reasons why you might prefer taking a cruise instead of a flight. The first reason is that a check-in on a cruise is generally quicker. Now, I know that some airports offer quick check-ins, but you generally have to go through security, you need a passport, a boarding pass, and there are often flight delays, things like that. Now, I'm not saying that cruises are never delayed, but generally speaking, you're on board. So if there ever is a cruise delay, like on our last cruise, we were meant to set off on the very same day, but we didn't set off until through the night, then it doesn't matter. Once you're on board, you're enjoying food, you're in your cabin. Whereas if you're in an airport and you're stranded, or if you're just on a plane waiting for it to take off, then it can really add a lot more undesirable length to your journey. The second reason why we prefer cruising to flying is that food is instantly available. That's right, as soon as you get on board, there are many different restaurants and different kinds of food that you can get. So if you've had a long drive up and you're maybe in the mood for some dinner, if you've set off in the morning, then you can get some food straight away, in comparison to being on a plane where firstly, not all planes have food. And then secondly, if you do get food on a plane, you've usually got to wait until you take off, you're in the air, things like that. The third reason to cruise rather than fly is because there are less luggage limitations. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm flying, I'm always checking the maximum weight, I'm checking the dimensions of the suitcases. You never have to worry about any of that on a cruise. Last time we went, we took a big suitcase each and we took a smaller suitcase full of snacks and drinks for the room. That's a luxury that you just don't get on a plane. Reason number 4 is that there are no airport-style security checks on a cruise. You know the type of security checks I mean, where you've got to go, take your belt off, take your shoes off. Those don't exist on cruises, or at least not the ones that I've been on. Now, of course, your passes do get checked, your passport usually gets checked, so there is some resemblance to an airport in that way, but it's nowhere near as time-consuming or tedious as the security that you tend to find in airports, in my opinion. The final reason why we prefer cruising to flights is that you generally have a bigger window for boarding in comparison to flights and airports. Anybody that's flown before knows how it is. You have to get to the airport usually at least 2 hours before your plane sets off. You have to keep an eye on what time the boarding gate opens, what time it closes. There's none of that on a cruise. You basically get allocated a time which you're meant to be there, but it's not as night and day as what airport style boarding times usually are. Despite all that, there are obviously a few pros to flying which cruising doesn't offer, so I'm going to go through a few of those now. The first reason is there are more flights than cruises. So if you want to go to a specific place, then there are usually several flights a day from sometimes one airport to get you to a specific place, whereas cruises are not quite so flexible. The second reason is airports. There are far more airports than what there are cruise docks, so if you want to go to an airport, there's usually a lot more airports within driving distance. Like, for example, here in the north of England, if you want to get a cruise, most of them are from Southampton, which is a 4-hour drive away, in comparison to, say, some of the airports which are nearby, like Manchester Airport, Liverpool, Leeds, Bradford. They're all a much shorter driving distance than Southampton. The last reason is that you can get almost anywhere in the world through flying. Obviously, some places require multiple transfers, but generally speaking, you can get to most places you want to go to through one or a couple of connecting flights, whereas cruises, you just have to go with what you've got. So if you're considering cruising for your next holiday, I hope that these tips help you out. If they did and you want to see more videos like this, then please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.